Hello and welcome to the Magic of Boots 35th episode. Um, this is Ronnie. I have Shudipta with me. Shudipta, how are you?
That's super good. How about you?
It's been really busy. Non-stop rain. There's a bit of sunshine on the horizon. Um,
Well, it's quite the opposite here in Berlin. So
okay,
it's sunny.
okay. Good to know. So we we haven't talked a lot of things, or we didn't really wrap up a lot of things for the season. Um, do you want to talk about the English Premier League last day? I believe we didn't really cover that.
Mm, yeah, we can actually. Um, but I have a question actually. I was going to ask if City uh, win and they own. So
Yeah.
um, they played 18 months almost without a striker because if you remember, like last 6 months of Sergio Aguero's contract, he was not actually playing that much because of the injury, and Jesus was playing in different roles. Um, and so, like, there weren't any like specialized number 9 in that position. So,
Now they have signed
um,
one, actually. Yeah.
yeah, and they scored 99 goals, one short of 100. Do, do you think it's a big achievement without a striker? Like, we have like since we were like I don't know if you remember like when we were growing up there were like at least two strikers like 4-4-2 that was the perfect I don't know like Premier League formation, and
Almost everywhere,
there were
even in
so many
Syria. Yeah.
yeah, there were so many like phenomenal strikers played in Premier League, um, York or Jermaine Defoe. I am I'm not mentioning like other
I have a little problem of calling them phenomenal striker like German Defoe. He's a good striker. He was a good striker. Very good. I mean, he could be a legend for Spurs, but he's not. Um, Legendary, I would say, Alan Shearer or
yeah, I'm not actually mentioning those names.
okay,
Like I don't want to.
okay,
It will create a whole lot of debates. Like if I
okay.
start mentioning like
People's name.
what's it?
Okay. Let's focus with that. Yes, it's a huge achievement, especially how you think the goals will come. So that
Yeah.
that kind of the football has changed. The goal doesn't come from one or two sources anymore, and especially the system Pep Guardiola plays. Um, even I remember a season. Is it 2012? Or no, that's 2012. Barcelona was actually his deputy Tito Villanova's first season with Barcelona. They have scored a ton of goal without a really legitimate striker. It was more of a false nine. And same you can talk about Pep's Barcelona too. There was David Villa, there was Ibrahimovic, but then he didn't really use them. So um, Pep's system doesn't really. I mean, he obviously evolved over the years and you know changed a bit.
We Let me interrupt a little bit. Like you mentioned small false nine, and in our last episode we mentioned that legendary Roma team. Um, like for small, like there were three strikers and one of them were playing as a false nine. So like, does it like, do you think it's sort of like an additional question, like he could have actually done those similar sort of things, but he went for like midfielders to play as a striker. So like, just to add on,
No.
sorry to interrupt.
Fair enough. I think even if we're talking about that 2002-3 Roma, was a different kind of attack. I mean, yeah, there were three strikers, but actually there was two strikers, and sometimes if they were trailing, it was, one, Batistuta was almost like end of his career, right? He was more used as there are a lot of games he was a substitute and he came on, and then there was the wing backs basically attacked a lot, especially to the Cafu. But coming back to there was, I mean, Francesco Totti's, if you look at that role, is very different than what you've seen in Messi's false nine in Barcelona. Um, and I think I'm not saying, I mean, he could be the best false nine ever. He's a phenomenal of a player, but there are a lot of other nuances on that position that's needed, like technical skill and stuff like that. And I think Pep have developed or given the responsibility and distributed that fairly well. And people like some midfielders are really good finishers, some are not really. People like Gundogan, um, if we're talking about Kevin De Bruyne, they're brilliant finishers. So, and not only that, I mean, you have Bernardo Silva, you have Raheem Sterling, wider player, and they can be used utility anytime. And even at a point that you have a
If you remember
specific
playing,
number nine, Gabriel Jesus, who was not really used as a number nine. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's a big achievement, but if you look at the graph of the work of Pep has done, I mean that's not unacceptable. Yes, 99 goals may sound a little bit more. Maybe I don't have a stat, and I don't really rely on stat. But some of the teams he managed, even in German, Bayern Munich side, there are a lot of goal scorer than just a specific one or two.
but I have an additional question. Like, if you remember, Monaco playing against Manchester City that season with Bernardo Silva, Mbappe, that team. Um, and if you remember Borussia Dortmund, Gundogan was not actually known for a scorer. So does Bernardo Silva.
Yeah,
And actually, Sterling is famous for quite a lot of miss. I don't know.
yeah. He was he was
Um,
he was very special for missing a lot of chances. Like finishing wasn't his thing.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, do you think at some point, like, they develop scoring, or it's because of the system they got into those scoring positions?
Both, but I think system plays a huge part, and that's I'm talking from a player's perspective because I've
Yeah,
played some, not professional games, but I've played a lot of football, and I know, say for example, if you pass it and you don't get the pass back, or you try to make a run and don't get a ball on the on the free space, makes a lot of difference, makes a player effective and non-effective. And the roles, certain players are given certain roles. I think, you're talking about Gundogan in Borussia Dortmund had a very different role. And I think in Manchester City he's given that license and more freedom to go and be the additional body in that box, or even just lurking around outside of the box. Same as Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva was still kind of developing. You have to remember, he was a very young talent in Monaco. He's still a young guy, but I'm saying, in Monaco it was a very different system. He was more like filling the gap.
winger, I guess.
Yeah, filling
Yeah.
the gap from flank. But here he's almost like a winger, half kind of, playing in the half line, like Thomas Muller.
Actually, he's yeah, more like Muller. Like, he's not in the wings anymore. But sometimes he shifted to the left to support Cancelo's positions, but
And again,
not
yeah,
that much actually.
exactly. And again, these things changes a little bit here and there, based on the opposition and who is playing with him, right? Because it's a team game, and it's a very well drilled team. You can see. Um, there's no doubt about that. Even not just Manchester City, even Liverpool's case too. Very different team, but very well drilled team. Whatever the system it is, and whoever coming is getting used to in different position. And teammates makes the other players look better. To be honest, I know we talked about Raheem Sterling. It was a matter of confidence and keeping the composure. Once he has that confidence from his teammates, managers, and everyone, teammates. A lot of time we talk about confidence from managers. We don't talk about teammates a lot because if the teammates are not giving you ball on the space, they're not confident on you, finishing it up,
Yeah,
and you lose confidence
true.
on your teammate too, right? And it's a matter of confidence and backing them up, and I think that team spirit works a lot.
Uh, were you surprised City came back, or they are sort of like a new drama queen in in Manchester, at least last 10 years?
Yeah, no, I was I cannot really say I'm surprised, but uh,
Or is it because
it
of the city? Like you have to be drama queen to win titles.
maybe uh, uh, maybe that Manchester has something, but not really surprised given the ability of the team. Yeah, it's. I mean, what's your opinion on scoring that many goals without striker? Is it just system? Is it just players? Is it just things, or just getting lucky? I mean, you cannot be lucky to score 99 goals.
I I don't think it's like luck. It's almost 2.84 goals per game, which is a lot actually. And they considered actually less, I guess, like last 12 or 10, 12 game, they only considered like 3, 4, 4, 5 goals, I guess. Mm, I don't think it's luck, and there are some interesting fact I actually wanted to mention. If you if you if you noticed, I don't know, last 10 or 12 games, I noticed something like for from the shape actually. Bernardo Silva, like probably he started playing as a false nine in the middle of the season, like after 10, 9 or 10 games, and he started scoring a lot. And then he shifted to the right and then to the left. And at the end of the season, he was playing in some matches as a defensive midfielder. Like uh, Rodri was going up and tried to press, and actually he was able to um, take the ball from the opposition quite a lot. Like probably I don't know, I don't have this exact stat, but it's almost like one per game. Like he's getting making um uh, like opposition defender struggle to ball move pass, and he was like whenever they lost the ball, Rodri was on that side, and he's like quite, like we talked about this similarities between Rodri and Sergio Busquets. Sergio Busquets is like staying in the middle type of guy. Like try to
Spider-Man.
connect everything. Yeah, like sort of like a center of the wave. And for Rodri, there is this insane statistics. He probably own more balls than any other players in that team in Premier League as well. And wherever he goes, it's sort of like Silva is in the center of the wave. Like he always look for Silva and try to, and Silva was like making those run and try to uh, take out the pressure from him and from the team as well. And Rodri was sort of like getting the ball, and sometimes he was actually getting balls in the left wings or right wings, and these sort of positions, like where there is supposed to be a center midfielder. So I think like my comment was like uh, Rodri. I don't know. Not so many people are discussing about Rodri, but I think he's the best defensive midfielder right now. Like technically, he's like almost genius level.
I agree, but that when we're talking about defensive midfielders, there are a lot of kinds. I mean, a lot of variations of defensive midfielders, right? Um,
Yeah.
when you
Uh,
think of,
let me finish. Actually mentioned defensive midfield because, like, when you ask me, like, is it luck or is it their position? They could actually start immediately the attack from the wings because they are getting the balls there, and that's the thing. Like, their midfielders are like so progressed already. Like 3 4 players are on the line, so anyone could be in the scoring position and at any time. So that's what makes made actually the difference between City and other team. Probably Liverpool is close right now, but that's the difference between those two teams than the other.
I
I
think the
would say.
major difference between Liverpool and ManCity is in transition and directness. Manchester City have been fairly more direct than last season, whatever I've noticed. Like winning the ball, passing one pass, two pass. They're on the almost on the attack on the space, right? And they create more. There is more player pushing on the space and giving more options on the after winning the ball. And I think it's based on that. If you have three midfielders, one is winning the ball. Second is basically passer, and third is the creative one. Now here you don't need the third because I was going to talk about this definition of uh, defensive midfielders. There are a few kinds, such as we have seen Pirlo, who used to
Yeah.
sit in deep, being protected by other hardworking guys, and used to give a very pinpoint pass from long distance. You have Sergio Busquets, who has this switching ability and making him available and open, and helping in transition from defense to midfield and attack, and progressive kind of midfielders, and sometimes even very tricky to deal with because you don't want to go and close down Sergio Busquets almost every time you're going to fail. You have Frankie de Jong, who can really run with the ball and play a lot of one-twos. So I'm giving a very brief example of nuances and differences. All are kind of defensive midfielders. You have Frank Cassie, who has a different kind of ability, more physicality, more ball-winning power, uh, but also connects well with other midfielders and the flank. So you have and then N'Golo Kante, who can work hard for a long time. Yeah, his performance may be not as good as he used to be, but if you still look at some of the statistics, he's still phenomenal player. And he's been employed a lot of times to win the ball as a very good sense of tackling and getting the ball back. But once you get the ball back, I mean, Rodri is very good at that. You need a player in the position or in the space who can make the right decision with the ball and switch the play right away. So I think Bernardo has been used. Not only Bernardo, I think there's Gundogan has been used a lot. Um, I think with each time and each team, and what I noticed with Pep's team as well, he likes one at least left-footed player, at least one, to have his own team, and Bernardo Silva ticks a lot of boxes on that. So I think it's a modified use of a lot of players' different side, and I think he used it fairly well throughout the season.
Well, he has like at least 2 players playing in the main team who is actually left-footed, and I think for Sterling, I don't think any foot matters. Like he's
Still,
probably a little
still,
bit favors in right, but
yeah,
he is also like good in left.
left,
He can make dribbles in both sides. So does Phil Foden.
yeah.
Like even he's left-footed, but he can move to the.
So yeah, that
I think Jack Grealish is also like left-footed.
yeah, but prefers right. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
but yeah, that again goes back with the player's natural instinct. Sometimes if you're pressed high and you go into a danger zone, you normally try to take your lesson from whatever you built on. And if you start to develop certain more things, you have more things to cope with, or more tools to cope with such situation. So yeah, I think that was a very in detail, kind of very technical level conversation. I
Yeah, I have a question actually.
Go ahead.
Um, City own 4 out of 5 Premier League last in the last 5 years so far. Like what? Like if you are a Liverpool player and doing all those amazing things like the whole season, like winning Champions League and every possible cups in the 5 years period of time and performing really outstanding, they lost like only 3 games, but still they are trailing at least 1 point behind in this 5 seasons, like, and 3 trophies behind Manchester City. Like, how do you feel, or like, does it some sort of like a motivation? Like, will it give some sort of a motivation, or like, will it be, I don't know,
Well, different people will
deadline
feel
for them?
different way, right? Obviously, it's not great to not winning it, but
Yeah,
I think it's still, on that level. I guess that everyone is kind of competitive, very professional, and anyone can see that City has been great. Uh, Losing to them, becoming second to them, it's should you take it personally? I mean, obviously there is room for improvement. Uh,
yeah, of course.
and Liverpool has been on their own right has been really really brilliant for the last how many years? Six 6 years at least.
5.5 years, yeah,
Yeah.
at least.
So, but and they've done quite well in the Europe too, um,
Yeah.
and a lot of other competitions.
Playing European finals at least 3 times
Yeah,
in this period.
exactly, and at least won it once. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're very little margin. You could have just won it like, and they've lost it like how many points? Not only just this season, but previous seasons too, right? It's been very tight. So
They
I
played actually, not to mention all the matches possible for a team um, in from a Premier League side.
Yeah,
Do you think
that's
it's sort of a how can I say, influencing factor or something like that?
could be, but they have deeper squad, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
compared to any other team, and they're fairly deeper squad too.
Or is it though, actually, if you look at the midfield, like we mentioned probably after the FA Cup final, that there should be at least another left-footed midfielder or an attacker, and whatever they are buying still now, almost similar sort of players and similar sort of midfielder, and
True.
this sort of like I don't know, like they're trying to make it in the same level at the same time. Well, if you are playing same team, same tactics for like 60, 70 matches the whole seasons, like you 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 were, I don't know, like it's hard to repeat all those things, like it's insane almost.
Yeah, exactly. But also then that tells you that Jurgen Klopp is someone that he has a firm belief. He's a firm believer on his system, and he wants that set of attributes on a player. So he can probably give more rest to other players. Um, and also, there are certain players really could have done well. I thought. One of them actually going out of Liverpool this window is Origi. I thought he is
He
someone.
already left. He
Yeah,
was
he's someone very
released.
underutilized, in my opinion, to be
Yeah.
honest. Um, Yeah, there, you can tell both sides. He has his firm belief and he wants those attributes, but you're handicapped of being playing in the same style, and you have almost no. It's a long Any season is a long season, and if you're competing in every game or every competition, right? So it becomes a bit of challenge, definitely.
Mm. Can we move on?
For
Like,
sure. So
I think it would be quick. I don't know.
yeah, no. Any technical questions are kind of like that. You start to going deeper. But where do you wanna go from there?
Um, I don't see any club matches to cover so far.
No,
Like,
I would rather, because it's been
the Premier
long
League, yeah,
season, and
yeah,
a lot of similar kind of conversation coming out, and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly.
So the national team were involved.
No, we can move there. Yeah.
Not a lot of.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we can start with Nations League.
Sure. Hungary has been the revelation.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I was actually
and
curious which one you were going to mention before,
well, no,
Hungary
no,
or
no,
Germany.
no, Hungary. Hungary has to be Hungary, because they've been.
Yeah,
It's been not just Hungary. I liked Austria too.
yeah.
Very, very well drilled team. It looks like, at least they look fit. Um, Trans.
Also, I probably saw Ralph Ragnick laughing first time in the in the dugout for so many months. Like, I don't know, since
Yeah,
when he.
I feel for him. He's been through a lot, so good to see him laughing.
Yeah, but um, well, I actually expected a little bit more from this Austrian side actually, because so many players are playing in Bundesliga, like German Bundesliga, like in Austria it's also called Bundesliga. So German Bundesliga, and they should actually perform a little bit more. But again, like big teams, big players, they are not performing at the same level. So like I actually cut a little slack from Austrian side um, for them.
So
But
on this whole Nations League that is going on in UEFA side,
yeah,
right? Because there is
mm,
CONCACAF Nations League is going on too. So if you have to pick top performance, what would be that? Like top two or three performances from a team that you have seen.
performance, you mean like a single match or
Single match, or it could be collective. Let's start. Let's probably put it in a single match.
like a team who's performing like in the last 3-4 matches or something like that, like a favorite or something. What did you mean? I
I mean, no, no, no. What team you actually liked performance in 90 minutes, and what did you like in, say, for 2 3 games?
Well, for longer period of time, I would say Denmark, pretty impressive. Like I don't know, like it reminds me of that German team from 2002 World Cup. Like three key players in the three different positions who are actually carrying the whole team, and everyone is like acting so hard, and there were a clear philosophy, and there were how can I say, like a traditional movement. Like they know where the other players are going, and they actually made those through passes and in between the lines, and they're receiving those passes, especially in the from Ericsson. Sometimes, like I don't know, like it looks like he almost has a um, how can I say, like a sixth sense, like Lionel Messi, like Messi level passes I saw actually in this 3-4 matches actually. So yeah, it was pretty impressive. And also Kasper Schmeichel, he's like brilliant. So far, he made pretty good save, and also Actually, this first position actually tied between Denmark and Netherlands. Netherlands played in the last match. Probably, let me check.
Poland.
Uh, Double check. I don't know. There was another match after Poland. Probably
Okay.
Wales.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a last minute winner from Wales, Memphis Depay.
yeah.
um, yeah, Poland match they could have actually won. There were actually like two almost half chances. Normal in normal situation they wouldn't miss those sort of chances. Like one from Depay and one from I don't know Bergwijn or someone else. But this whole team they played in a different shape against Wales, and which is understandable. And Depay actually started from the bench, and I actually watched that match, and I was actually switching in between um, three matches and trying to find out those shapes of these teams, and it's hard to actually and also like it's because um, highlights are not available for all matches so far, and that's the problem like I faced when I tried to analyze those team. Like, okay, Netherlands previous match, what happened, I wanted to see. So like I didn't could not find any. Same goes for some teams. So like I tried to switch and try to at least like spend like 5 to 10 minutes and try to understand the shapes, how they're playing, and try to move on. But what I saw, like they can play. I saw them playing 4-3-3 most of the time under Bengal, and I saw them playing like 3-4-3 at some point. I don't know, like probably there were some injury problems in the past, and this team actually was playing a sort of like a 4-2-3-1, as sort of like a shape. And I don't. I don't see actually Bengal is going to his infamous this 3-4-3 formation from 2014 World Cup, and probably he is the alternative shape would be 4-2-3-1. But the in attack it would be almost similar as like 4-3-3 how they're playing, because like five people will attack and like in the final third and try to get those depth and so this sort of stuff. And what impressive was uh, Depay's performance. I don't think we need to mention anymore, but let me mention. I just I just want to double check this player. Uh, just a moment.
Sure. Um, I think Netherlands just lost one game in between all this. Is it lost or
Well, it was a draw with Poland and someone else. I don't know.
okay?
Let me check.
Sure.
And funny thing is that Delict is not even in the main center back position.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That player is Dumfries. Whenever they are playing like a 3-5-2 or they are using as a using a wing back or something like that, or 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or Dumfries, like whenever he's playing, he's sort of like a late coming winger when they are attacking, and because most of the attacks are from the left side, and Blind is like quite brilliant. We know what he does. He is doing his thing, but as a latecomer, he actually probably his short per game. It's almost 1.5 or at least 2 as a wing back or left right winger. Sorry, right back, which is pretty impressive if you think about it. And it's also like it's not like he's just making those shots. It's like most of the shots are on targets, and it actually creates a sort of threats in the opposition to care for the left side, which actually stressed and create position for. Depay or Gakpo or whoever in the playing in the center.
I mean, by all honesty, I'd love to see sometime. If we can make a whiteboard and do that sort of tactical movement. That would be great. But that's great observation. To be honest, I haven't seen because of the highlights being of the UEFA Nations League. Either it's unavailable, or really short, or not really consequential. Like you don't see
Yeah,
the
that's the
build up.
problem actually. Is like I could not find some even like some famous games. I could not find any sort of like
No,
videos.
it's almost like
For
two
example,
minutes, three
Germany
minutes.
versus Italy, it's like a big game actually, between two neighbors, and there aren't any
Good.
videos to review or
No,
anything.
as if the football is only interest about goal and nothing else, and probably good chances. For the viewers, I would like to see more, build up how they're building up, what have not worked and stuff like that, and what are the, those sort of things. It's hard to get it in highlights.
Yeah, and to answer your other question, uh, best performance in 90 minutes, I would mention the recent one between England and Hungary. It's they only
It's
completed
coming
like
home.
265 or 285 passes, 86 or 87. I don't know, around this sort of passes, which is like really less for a football team. But whenever they are going to attack, and funny thing is that, like, let me mention a little bit stats. Um,
You love stats.
expected goal. What?
You love stats.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, the expected goals in the match actually. I for England team, it was almost like it was probably 1.05 or something like that, and they end up scoring nothing. Where whereas um, for Hungary, it was 0.85 or 0.86, around that number actually.
So yeah, sorry about that. Let's get back to the stat on England-Hungary games.
Yeah, what I was mentioning, like England team has 1.0 something expected goal. They ended up scoring nothing, whereas like Hungary had like 0.8 85 or something like that, but they ended up scoring four goals. Where like there were only 200 something passes completed from Hungarian side, and but when I was watching the match, like especially like at the end of um, first half and the beginning of the second half, I they were ahead like by only one goal margin, and England was trying to come back, like even though like it's not like one can say like there were certain players missing in the midfield and in the defense, but still like this those players level are, you know, you expect them to perform, at least like try to find a way to open up the scoring, because like you are going to the World Cup as an English team. There will be certain matches like there will be deadlock, especially in the group stages and second rounds, and you have to make come on top. Otherwise, how can this team is like still favorites?
Tell me a game under Gareth Southgate where they were really on top for 90 minutes.
I think against Montenegro or someone else. I don't remember.
I don't even think so, even not for 90 minutes. uh,
Yeah, they scored 5 goals or 4 goals at the time, but still, like Hurricane was playing, and I think uh, reliability on Hurricane is another uh, issue.
mhm.
They could have easily played Temi Abraham and tried to, and I don't see any sort of like a creative signatures from Gareth Southgate at all. Like we we have mentioned like
Sorry.
uh, that probably is somewhere in Euro or somewhere else.
But
That
he took
he has
them
a team of
to final of Euros
Ferrari.
and semi-finals of World Cup, right? That's the
Yeah,
criteria.
Italy won that Euro and knocked out of the World Cup. So,
No,
what does it tell
that's
you?
the most Twitter getting from the English fans. I know that, keep Garrett in there, keep Gary in there because he's taken us to semi-final of World Cup and
Yeah, but it's like it also would be stupid to change coach. It's like 6 months before the World Cup. Um, at least it would could have been done after the Euro or something.
okay.
So yeah, like
And
but
how can
there
you sack a coach that took you to the final rating in the Euro?
yeah,
You
but
see that?
it, like if that is the limit, like that is the standard of success, like getting into same finals and semi-finals of the World Cup, and if that is the standard, then that the team will never win anything.
Mhm.
Like it will it will not win anything. Like we mentioned probably in our last episode about Pochettino, and I mentioned Jose Mourinho and Mourinho's interviews, and one of the things he was mentioning that like wherever he was going and appointing, and they wanted him to perform instantly. Like they if they if he failed to win a cup, even like for Spurs, he took them to FA Cup or um, Capital One Cup final, but he still got sacked. um, so that is the level, that is the expectation, and you were expecting this coach to like at somehow like scoring one goals or giving going in on the one to, penalty shootouts and going on to the end of the end of the rope or something. I don't see, at least I don't expect this sort of team uh, to win anything.
No, I don't.
And
I don't too. I don't see England winning anything.
even like even people say it like there are negative mentality in that Greek team that won Euro in 2000 back in 2004 against a brilliant Portuguese side, but they still have some sort of signature. Like there were 9 guys who are like trying to block everything, and 2 guys were losing, running loose, and whenever they get the ball, they try to find his
There was a
space.
creative number
There
10.
were, yeah, there were like and whenever they got a corner, they always like they probably scored only like 7 or 8 goals
Very few.
throughout the
Yeah.
whole tournament. Yeah, and 4 or 5 of them actually came from corner or set pieces. So that is their signature mark. But can you tell me any like there are any signature mark from this
I
English team?
I can, but they're all not all positive, really. I can tell a lot of signatures that are not really good.
Yeah, that's true. Um, but I
But
was
it's
asking
the
a question.
heaviest defeat, just to give it a bit
Yeah,
of
and
historic
they can be
importance.
actually, yeah, and they can be actually relegated. Um,
They
uh,
are so what I think they were relegated. No,
no, there are 2 more matches in
okay,
September to be played, and if they don't win, they will be relegated. Uh,
fair enough.
so does France.
But yeah, no, I was seeing the French team and look, I don't know, it looked pretty. I mean, the amount of talent on that side, but the changes
and
were kind of wholesale changes. Like everyone was
and
changed.
and the most worrying thing for those teams is that there are there will be a, yeah, it already started from yesterday. There will be 3.5 or 4 weeks of breaks, depends on where you are, for the players. And the preseason will be started, and like in 1 month.
Yeah.
And like they will play probably only 2 matches in September, and that's it. That's it for the World Cup. And that 2 matches actually, I don't know, like if you were Southgate or I don't know, French coach or someone else, like do you think these 2 matches is enough to fill those? Or I don't know, like for some reason they will play in the World Cup in a different mindset or something like that. Do you think it's possible? Or I don't know, like where to, how to solve these sort of things, or think about it, this sort of things. And this is the thing, actually. And another thing is that like USA will always try to bite England in the
Th-
World Cup.
I don't think they have to do a lot. I'm really kind of envious about USA getting England. I wished Canada was getting them. Those that English team would have been a very good game to play for Canada. I really hope sometime if we can switch with the USA. Hey guys, you can come and play Belgium. But
Yeah,
anyway,
but Belgium is also like a mouth-watering team for I wish for Canada. I
no,
don't
no,
know,
no,
like
no.
there is an upset
I've seen a
between,
little bit of
but
diff-
I wouldn't say it will be
there
an
is more
upset.
character.
What I saw from this Belgium team,
Yes, there is more
um,
character on and variation on Belgian team
yeah,
than English team. What I've seen so far.
yeah, yeah, they actually turn around, at least try to turn around. And there are players actually in the benches, and they are playing in certain leagues. Like they're like before that, actually, like before last uh, 5 or 6 months, they are playing in the players from only Spanish league, Premier League, or some the big clubs. And now they are actually trying to give chances to real talents and see what's going on. And as long as Martins and uh, De Bruyne is hanging around, and if the team um, try to maintain a little bit shape, I think they will score few goals at least, or go deep in the tournament at least.
For sure. How are you feeling about Hansi Flick's Germany? Looked to be really well machined at this point.
Um, World Cup is coming,
Yeah.
and it's Germany, so I say before that match, if you remember, I said like only German teams actually impressed me. And but the performance of the German team was like 2 or 3 draw or one lost. Um,
Yeah,
I don't
I
remember,
don't actually
but
look at. Yeah, exactly.
I said that like, okay, this is going to be, Germany is already back, and they actually proved. Like people are saying this thing after the Italy match,
No, no, no.
but
It's
I said
before
it
then.
before,
Yeah,
like before week, because of certain things. Like Hansi Flick is like a, how can I say, like if you remember Bayern Munich winning that Champions League, and it was almost like a, how can I say, one-legged tournament at
yeah,
like from quarterfinals to
yeah.
semi. And um, there were certain changes he made actually throughout these 3 matches, which actually like gave what level he was thinking. And he tried to find those sort of players in those sort of position, and he actually did not actually change any sort of shape or make sort of uh, experiment with shapes. They are playing in 2 3 different formation, but like the roles of the player, it never feels like, um how can I say, it never feels like that. um, how can I say, like they are lost in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
You know, um, they know their rules, and there are few players coming on, and Timo Werner, he seems to find his scoring
Confidence too.
flows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, with Germany, and it almost seems like as similar to uh, Closer,
Yeah. This
although like they're
style
different.
wise. Yeah, style wise, it's very
Yeah,
different.
they're different players also. Like, but thing is that like also Kai Havertz were not playing
Hmm.
in the matches, so that is another goal scoring option from uh, Germany. But I understood what why he's not playing and stuff like that. But the main problem was in the center back positions, and it seems like 4-2-3-1 is also will be effective, and they actually let me check like who played in the as a center back. Yeah, against Hungary it was a draw. um Lang is from Hungary. Sule Kerer and Schlotterbeck was playing, and it, Schlotterbeck, I don't know, like he's too young right now, like 22 years old only. Um, Maybe like in 2 3 years he will be uh, in that position. But what impressed me is that like how whenever Rudiger is playing, this team's he seems like this guy, like from the back, like what can I say? Um he seems like their leader from the back. Neuer is not that that person anymore so far, but Neuer is also performing
Well,
outstanding, and
yeah.
I would, yeah, like he made few saves, and there were like like this old days, like good old days when he was sweeping, and he made some sort of like those things, especially when Italy was trying to break in, and especially against Hungary, because if you watch a little bit of Hungarian team, they actually goes through the middle and try to do a sudden, how can I say, like a sudden through ball to the wings, and try to like point everything in to the center guy, whoever he like playing in the center. And against Germany, they couldn't actually go through because of the players they're playing in that match. And I think midfield is solid as always, like German midfielders so far. It wasn't a problem even in 2018. But one problem is that playing Nicolas Sule um, as a center back, even though like he's doing quite okay, but it could, if you remember, do you remember Matt Hummel's mistakes in Euro? Like it could have create some sort of situations like that. So like with Rudiger as a as an experienced Champions League winner, I would prefer um, Solterbeck or someone else in the center. So that was the problem actually so far, and I don't see actually scoring options. Especially Timo Werner is brilliant form with Germany, like probably scored like 4 or 5 goals in last 5 6 matches, almost same as Di Maria. But the movement in the inside of the box, and whenever Havertz are playing, it's like it seems like they have a connection so far. But this team does not actually depend on this uh, connection. And another main thing is that playing Kimmich in the center. So
What I see is that there is a compared to last like 2014 Germany, there are like bunch of young, very talented players. This German team has a lot of players that are talented, uh, and I think there is something is cooking on the pot. Not sure if that would be ready, but at least they'd be in a very good position at least in the World Cup that you can see. Whatever the resources are there.
Yeah, I think they little bit probably they tried Hoffman in the right wing side of the field. Sometimes he was switching on the left as well, but I think Genarby will be the better option if he plays in the right. And so far, it feels like almost they are like to get their starting 11, or like 8 9 players are almost sure. And I don't know what will be the role for Thomas Muller, but he scored again.
Yeah,
And in last probably, I don't know for how many years, probably from 2010 he was playing in the big tournaments, right?
yeah.
So like last 12
Actually,
years and
2008
almost
Euro.
is he playing, was he playing?
He was on the squad, I believe. If I'm not absolutely
He
sure,
was not playing it so far, I
probably not.
remember, because in 2006 he was a ball boy of uh, because the World Cup was in Germany,
Yeah,
and he was a ball boy. But yeah, like thing is that like what will be his role, and when he was, because he is probably 35 36 years old, and he's not going to play all the matches so far, I understand. And if it goes to the extra times and like something like that in the deep in the tournament, and I don't see he's playing, and whoever is going to play that role or try to play a different role, that would be a question actually for now at least. We don't know the answer. Probably Flick knows. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's correct. And it also depends on the teams um, who they're facing. The first game is very important for any World Cup, right?
yeah.
They're playing against Spain, I believe. Uh, but that can define the tournament for them. I mean, if they can, the first game is always tricky.
But on the other note, like if you see Spain matches, they are doing everything else like so perfectly. But yeah, whenever it comes to like defending against a speedy team or a speedy center forward or a speedy wingers, Spain is a little bit weak at that. Like they are weak in that side historically, and there are some historical, like another historical thing is like the striker thing. But Morata is scoring so far as long as I remember, and I don't know like how to pick a favorite between these two teams. It would be hard, but current Nations League performance is like it says okay, Spain is doing okay, but if you see the opponents, Germany is playing, like England, France, and Hungary is like top of their group, and Spain is playing.
I might say Spain is playing better teams at this point. England and France are rubbish.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a shame like if one of these like it's a shame one of these two team is going to be second, and they are going to face a potential how can I say big teams on their way. And could it may they I don't know like stop them earlier in the tournament, but
Well,
I don't
I
know.
whoever wins it, I don't care. Canada is still a big team. Um, so coming from coming from my side, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Nevertheless, I always liked Luis Enrique as someone who has a great knowledge of the football. He's someone like very much like Guardiola doesn't like to have an out and out striker. If he has, he used it. And if he doesn't, then he's using a lot of converted sort of midfielders. And I have my question mark on that too. I mean, what they're going to score. The difference between 2010 Del Bosque Spain and this Spain is way. I mean, even the midfielder they have and the quality they have, that's still no match for that midfield of 2010. And the controlled. I Go ahead.
I would literally add a little thing that we, it's not yet time to how can I say compare this team, because those midfielders were like full grown. Xavi is already was playing like 8-10 years period of time in his career. Iniesta is like probably 4-5 years and top of his form, and Busquets just got in, and
Xabi
before that,
Alonso.
yeah, before that Alonso, yeah, it was brilliant. And for this team, Pedri and Gabi is just getting started so
Yeah,
far.
they're just taking off, and also another one, Busquets is actually almost. He's still a brilliant player. I love him, but he's almost at the end of his um, glorious career. And
But
Rodri.
that shouldn't worry the Spanish coach. Rodri is almost same
No,
similar player.
the team they're facing, Germans are fairly quick.
Yeah.
Japan are fairly
Well,
quick, and now I think they have Costa Rica too. Costa Rica is not that hard on paper, but you never know. One game, one of a
yeah,
game.
but if like I saw some matches like in the World Cup qualifier or in the Copa, they are defending with 9-10 players,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
creating blocks. And if they're creating those sort of things, how can you
Exactly.
break through without a striker?
Especially Spanish team. I have a
Yeah,
huge question mark on breaking down any team, really.
yeah, that's the thing. Like that's
And also
that team
that
actually
makes you
had.
vulnerable in the defense too, because you don't have really very like you don't have Rudiger on your backline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually that is what I mentioned before in our last episode. Like you may need Sergio Ramos in
Eh,
that team.
True. Uh, you actually need Ramos, to be honest. Uh, I guess I don't have anything else to talk about, at least, Spanish team. But what do you think? Why? I was also impressed by Croatia. They played in patches really well. I
Yeah, they
thought,
played fairly well so far, and I don't know. Well, I cannot rule them out in the tournament. It depends, like the players they are going to play, because
yes.
they beat France in their last
Yeah,
match.
yeah, yeah. In France, in Paris.
In France, yeah.
And what?
And French team was like
Why they're
Kimpembe,
toothless?
Konate was playing.
Why
What?
they why they look toothless?
The French team?
Yeah, there is some one. I think against, is it Croatia? There was one movement of that Mbappe that came out of the crossbar. But other than that, French team didn't look like that, like
They
ominous.
never looked actually. Honestly, they never
But
looked.
in moments they do, like say for example the game they lost against Switzerland in the Euro. There was like 20 minutes they were on the top of their game. Like they're not consistently there, but in patches they're brilliant. Even the game they win against Argentina, there were like patches they were there. So I didn't see that patch anymore.
Do you think, like, want to answer your question with a question actually? Who they are missing most, Pogba or Kante?
I think Kante.
Because Pogba was creating chances for them, um,
True, true. I think
and
now I see it could be both actually, but I would still choose Kante because Kante made a lot of ground covered, a lot of winning the balls. If Pogba is not there, I guess there are enough talent in that French team to at least create some sort of linkage. But I don't see any replacement of Kante.
Well, I don't know. Like I probably we admire too much attacking football. That's why we don't see or um, never see in France like can I say like a attacking threat or something like they scored. Yeah, they won matches, cups so far, but well, this team never actually have a shape or never had a
And
signature
and they
so
had a
far.
and they had a Olivier Giroud who always used to score crucial goals. Now they don't.
Yeah, they are playing with last match I think with Nkunku and
As an
Benzema
white,
and
white
Mbappe
guy.
was playing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but Nkunku is more like a
Central.
central guy. He can play the same
Yeah.
role what Griezmann was playing in the last World Cup.
And what happened to Griezmann?
I don't know. Yeah, there were some talks going on with him between Barca and Atletico because there were buyback clause in the loan, and
Yeah.
Atletico is not agreed to pay that much. But aside from that, from that, actually, he's not actually performing. Like nobody was want him right now with these high wage bill, and everything else. So I don't know like what happened to him, but he was at some point he was determined to play with Barcelona, and suddenly one or 1 week, like probably in 1 week notice, he discovered himself coming back to Atletico, and I don't know, it probably changed sort of like a mentality or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Once he moved to Barca, he was not never a same player. Um, but that kind of brings, and I mean, I didn't see. I've obviously seen Italian performance. There are a few good things and some young stars, as we talked about last time, like Fratesi and
Yeah, but this
but
team actually started building themselves. Like
yeah, and they don't
you can
have
take a long
they
road.
yeah they don't have to worry
Mhm.
about World Cup too, um,
Yeah,
because they can watch it on their TV. And so yeah, no, I don't have anyone else. So is
but
there?
why do you
Mhm.
put so-called favorites in the list? Like,
But that's my question. Is it can you predict the Champions League based on preseason? This is like Nations League is like a. I'm not saying it's a preseason. It may be a bit more a bit more impactful.
it's actually worse than preseason because like players are already drained up. Like,
Yeah, but still, there has to be. I mean, you're getting a chance to see a lot of other players that don't normally play. You're seeing them and trying different system and see how it fits. So in that sense, it has some kind of impact and it has some kind of pedigree, I believe. But um, I still see there's a momentum, and I don't see. Say for example, England doesn't have any momentum. Who else? France is losing momentum, and Denmark is getting momentum. You have Croatia is getting momentum. You have Netherlands in some sort of way. They're getting their team organized too. You have Spanish team. I'm not absolutely sure. They're almost the same. You'd expect from last Euros. You have um, Belgian team looks like after a shock. They started to get and see more option, and that would make them probably a little bit better than sides like England. But Germany is forming. Something is cooking. Uh, Other than that, not really much to actually learn from these games.
but any Anyone favorite from European sides in the World Cup?
If I have to consider these games, I would say actually Germany would go and do well. Then people are realizing. I'd put them over England for sure because I see any ratings England is being favored. I kind of laugh. I know. How can you say that? I mean, I understand the team has a lot of youngsters and potential, but no, it's not a good team. Um, Germany, I'd put them ahead for sure at this point. I think something. I think I thought Hansi Flick appointment was a little late, but now I know that he has most of the players from that his Bayern Munich side, and he has a good understanding of his resources. I think it is. I don't know if they are going to go and actually.
Not only Bayern Munich side actually. If you saw the last few matches,
No, no, no.
there are players from
For
all
sure.
over the world
No, no, for
actually.
sure, for sure. What I'm saying is there are certain players on the core that he know from his Bayern Munich side,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's easy. And then he incorporated into certain players that suits the style as well, right? And give them a start. So there's a bit of foundation already there. Um, but England doesn't have that, or even Spain. I mean, no matter how much I like Luis Enrique, he can be stubborn, and he's he doesn't have
There
much.
are many s- um, second strikers in the team.
Ferran Torres,
No, Torres was not playing as a striker. Dani Olmo was playing more of a central guy, and Torres was like Fati is still way far from
right,
being fit.
right.
That's the thing. Another thing that would be an issue, I guess. It would be a good in like if he plays the World Cup, it would be I don't know, better for Spain. Pedri is going to play because he was missing the whole 4 matches.
But
Whenever
again,
Gavi is
these
playing and he's creating
Pedri,
something,
yeah, exactly. Pedri Gavi will create, but there has to be a guy to finish it. Is it RDT like Raul de Thomas? I don't know if he can perform.
no, Raldi Thomas they tried, but for some reason it doesn't fit with his style.
Yeah,
Maybe in counter attack sometimes, but if you're playing against Costa Rica, you need some I don't know some guy who can break this team. And David Villa was that guy actually. Iniesta was that guy against Netherlands. That's
yeah.
why they won.
Yeah,
Um,
or even they had a very good number nine at that point, Fernando Torres on top of his form, 2008-10.
yeah,
Um,
but what I see so far as a potential uh, member, Fatih could be that guy actually playing from wide and scoring something because I mentioned that actually in the beginning of the season whenever he was playing and he has this authority like give me the ball I'm trying to score
but
a goal.
here's my question, because World Cup is not for a long time, but he needs some
Yep.
match practice, and hopefully he'll be back with Barcelona too. But then each
he
time he
already he is already fit
But each
not
time
strong.
he came back for Barcelona, he didn't actually continue
Yeah,
for more than 2 months. That's my question. Is
yeah,
that's a serious issue for a youngster with a lot of talent. I mean, if he can
yeah,
continue, yeah, he's world class. No, no second doubt about that.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's a different issue actually.
yeah, so that you need almost a backup for Fatih.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming back, what I was going to say. So yeah, I don't know. There is no clear kind of favorite this time around, I can say. I cannot.
um have you seen World Cup venues? They are actually pretty close, so players will recover, and it's in the middle of the season. So, like if they are healthy, their recovery time will be a little bit more, and they don't have to travel much.
No, no,
That's
it's
another good
basically
thing
a big
actually.
city,
Yeah, it's like a big village, Olympic village, sort of things.
kind of. Um but yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. That would be a different kind of case. November. That means that you would be almost prepared for the World Cup, and the other thing I wanted to mention that Australia versus Peru game was played
Yeah,
in Qatar,
we yeah
and they looked exhausted because of the heat, and that makes sense that it was moved to November. That game was hard to see for a long time. I mean, both teams looked drained.
yeah. It ended up in
Yeah,
penalty shootout, and Australia won so far. So no Peru. That's unfortunate. I was kind of rooting for them.
yeah, no, for sure. Me too.
But that's the thing about Australians, like they never give up.
No, that makes Bangladesh even better. Because Australia couldn't do much against Bangladesh. For first half, I think it was 1-0 or 2-0, and then second half, yeah, Bangladesh didn't play well. That's a different thing. They didn't take it that seriously like Italy. Um,
Yeah, we beat World Cup playing side, so
well, at least
you can say.
we can play. Yeah, that's something. And the other part was other. It was penalty too. I think Costa Rica versus New Zealand,
Yeah,
and Costa Rica just
yeah. So far I remember. I don't actually.
I don't remember, but it could be. But Costa Rica basically won and
Yeah.
went to the World Cup. Unfortunate for New Zealand.
So like four teams from um, North American side, right?
Yeah, that makes us looking better actually. I mean, we could. Yeah, Canada didn't do well very recent game against Honduras. That's because of it was basically a swimming pool. Um, in the rain and the bad drainage, and I was really worried for some of the players if they don't get injured. I mean, you
It
don't
was
want to,
in Honduras, right?
yeah, you don't want to get injured.
But Honduras is like famous for this situation, especially in this tropical season. Like
Yeah,
they, it becomes a pool something.
it becomes a pool, but it's a muddy pool. That's the other thing. You know,
Mm.
you will slip, and it's hard
Well,
to.
they could have actually hired some Bangladeshi guy from living in Canada, staying there.
No, Honduras has plenty of those expertise, so I don't think they need anyone else. They've played on those conditions for a long time. I was just rooting for anyone to not get injured because Honduras players are known for some rough tackles. But anyway, there are four teams from North America, which is a very, very good sign, at least from the region. And the region is going to host 2026 World Cup. Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna visit
yeah,
during the World Cup.
you're welcome. I was telling my friends and colleagues, I wish it was 2026 right now, but it's 2022 because I think the World Cup will be played very near me, and yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, so am I. Um, yeah, I was going to mention New Zealand because I was expecting them to play um, in the World Cup. So far, I saw
They are a
what
very
I
good
saw.
team.
Yeah, they are very good team and fairly. There were a few good runners actually. So they could have actually. They are really athletic team, and I actually was expecting rooting for them to win against Costa Rica, but you know, better team wins at the
So
end of the day. I don't know.
it seems like whoever you're rooting getting uprooted. No, just
Well,
jokes apart.
it seems so.
I think it's fair to say it's a better team than Costa Rica. Costa Rica
Yeah,
has a lot of limitation and
but I think
aging
it's
star.
because of the experience. Because Costa Rica is playing the like I think I guess like last 5 or 6 World Cup fairly regular. Um, that's the thing actually. New Zealand played probably last World Cup or the World Cup before after probably sometimes 20 years more than that actually year.
Yeah, no, you're right on that. Anything else to cover, really? We didn't actually.
Last question, like,
Yeah, go ahead.
um, so are we going to see? someone outside of Europe winning
Very
winning
good,
it in
very good chance of
Asia,
that.
because we mentioned Brazil, like possibility of Brazil being top favorite right now. Um, Argentina has fairly good chance with this team. Um,
Yeah, no,
Uruguay probably, I don't know.
Uruguay can be dark horse. If you remember
Yeah,
to 2010 World Cup.
yeah, of course, almost a similar team and similar setup, but
And also
with
there
different
is there,
formation
there,
and
there is a
tactics.
bit of flair with I didn't I forgot of Pelistri. He's doing really well. I think Manchester United. I mean, Eric Ten Hag would be very happy to have him in this his team. He's very versatile, technically very good player.
Is he linked with Manchester United now?
He's no he's if I'm not mistaken he's a academy player, and I think he was loaned last time. I don't know, uh,
Okay.
but there Manchester United would be very foolish to let him go to anyone else. Is a
Yeah,
very
also like Garnacho was scoring goals with the under 20 teams, and there were how can I say, like people are like posting, like not like in mass level popularity, but they are expecting him to see in the main team so far
in Manchester United or is in
in
Argentina.
United.
Actually, there is a lot of rumor. There is a lot of pressure from Argentine media to include him in the World Cup team.
Why is that? Because
Uh,
there are other players who are actually I don't know, a little bit more
but
experienced than him.
yeah, but he has those X factor, like his acceleration and finishing is really. He's someone like Cristiano Ronaldo of Argentina. I don't know if you have ever heard it anywhere else. It's like Cristiano Ronaldo of Argentina, basically. Similar
Well,
player.
he's admiring him,
Yeah, yeah.
Martin.
Is a same kind of pace, same kind of player. Very good free kick, and very good with the headers as well. And technically, the acceleration has been even in the. I mean, he's a young guy still. Even at
Yeah.
the age level tournament that went on, his acceleration is something that you need to take a notice of. So there's a lot of question mark on Argentine left wing side, like walking Korea and stuff like that. And people were saying that why not try this kid? He's 18. So
Well,
I don't
it
know.
could be an experience. I
Yeah,
always root for. Um, well, it could he could actually better than Nick Gonzalez, or as a good substitute as for Di Maria coming in like for 20 minutes and
yeah.
creating some
But yeah, these are these
mess.
are these are just kind of rumors at this point, to
Yeah,
be honest. But he's definitely going to be in Manchester United uh, main team, if not this year, by next year for sure. And I think he could be in this year actually. He was playing some. He scored a one crucial goal too. I believe, in for the Manchester United under 23 or something.
yeah, he did.
Yeah,
That actually keeps him in the media, like media focus or something like that from
yeah.
Manchester United.
But yeah, we actually. What I was going to say about Uruguay, there is a very good chance of Uruguay being the dark horse and being the surprise package. We didn't actually talk about Portugal at all, but Portugal has been.
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually, right now, well, like I put them ahead of England and France, and even Spain, how they came back without Ronaldo, or even like even if Ronaldo uh, were not there, there is someone who can actually play the same role, and even like it's better than 2016 team
yeah, no, they're
against
they're, they're actually there are actually very good players there, and a lot of pace, a lot of technical skill on that team. So
yeah. and I would love to see more Rafael Leo in the left, but that's actually raised the question: where will Jota going to play? And for there are Bruno Fernandes and Bernardo Silva, you cannot bench them. That's the thing.
And also the manager, he's more of a man manager, like please man, like his players pleasing manager rather than
Yes, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Sort of.
I don't think he can make a rough or tough call.
Yeah, that's the problem actually. Like this, uh, three sides from Europe, they have brilliant team, brilliant players, brilliant squad. And right now there are talks like the World Cup squad will be 26 persons squad instead of 23-person squad. So they can play mm, like at least three more players than they normally played. So yeah, and there will be probably five substitutes, I guess. Um,
Yeah,
and that could actually change the whole shape of the team and play different types of things. But I don't expect to see honestly some creative stuff or some super sub from those teams. Maybe it if I see something, it would be more like an individual performance from a super sub, other than a technical genius or technical.
but if you take a notice of
Maybe
this,
from France, I will see something. I am expecting to see something a little bit creative because they already won the tournament once. But Santos or Southgate, I don't see them actually making those uh, big gambles.
yeah. I was going to say something. I just lost my chain of thought, but that's fine. I think we were saying about. Oh, I remember right now. So some of the big teams, I think they will go to the knockout stage, and then it really matters is how they're playing in the knockout stages and who they're playing against, right? And why that matters? I mean, if you see England being going into the semi-final of the World Cup, that's because they have got a relatively easier opponent, and
Yeah,
that makes a lot of difference. So it's a knockout, and
yeah,
who you're playing against, that makes a lot of difference.
and they probably won a penalty shootout
Against Colombia,
for first time in their first time in their life.
yeah, against Colombia. So yeah, I guess. But yeah, enough of the favorites. I think there is no specific favorites. You can talk about by the name Brazil is, but again, we're going by the name. If you go by name, France is always going to be favorite because the team, the names, and that's where I think it's about a team game, not about the names. Bunch of names putting together.
But isn't always like a better team win, like better team win the World Cup?
Yeah, I think not always the best team, but the better teams definitely. I mean, whatever works
Yeah,
as a team.
so far the best team won the World Cup. Like not the best like pen and paper, but better performing team always win the
No,
World
not
Cup.
really. Not in
Like a
1954. If you see, Hungary never won the World Cup. 1982, Brazil was better performing. Sorry, even France. But 1982, 1986, Brazil was arguably one of the best team performing, not winning. Uh, who else? 1974, the Dutch team.
yeah, of
So
course.
so not always a better performing team wins. And on that sense, even if we go by 2006 World Cup, Germany were doing all right, not great, but against Argentina, Argentina were coming as a very good team and performing really well. And then all of a sudden tiebreaker and something went wrong, and then it's a hard to say the best team wins.
Yeah.
But better teams.
Can
I
we?
mean, as a team dynamic, yeah, maybe, maybe.
Yeah. No, that's what I was saying. Like when uh, there are substitutes coming up and changing the matches and creating a, like you are using like all 23 or like right now it would be 26 players in your squad, probably like two extra goalkeepers
Yeah,
they don't get to play, but other than them, like most of the players coming on are getting minutes and trying to change the future of the game, and those sort of teams actually own it eventually.
yeah, yeah.
If you think about it, like this 1954 team you mentioned, the Hungary team, it was beaten by German teams, and the team actually played fairly well football in the final, and there were sort of like man marking and stuff like that, and
And
I,
also,
I don't
just
want to
just
go in
just
details
just
there.
to mention that same German team got beaten by Hungary in the group stage, like 6-2 or 7-1.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it was
So
6-2
yeah,
probably, or 7-1, seven
yeah,
two, something
yeah.
like that.
So coming in the final, Hungarian team was overwhelmingly favorite, and most
Yeah.
of the top players were playing in the Real Madrid and Inter Milan and stuff like that. So uh,
Also, 1986 German team was not actually the, you know, how can I say? um,
actually, 1986 German team was actually more balanced to me than the German team that win the World Cup.
No, they actually being a team after probably the Euro '84. After that, actually, way long, and they actually got like when they were in the final, and then Lothar Matthäus, I remember him saying they become a team in the World Cup, but they were actually outperformed by this
Argentine.
Argentines, because the team was like even Maradona did not score and he was man marked all the time, but he still managed to assist
Yeah.
probably once, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's the thing,
And there are clinical
like
finishers, like
yeah,
say for
and
example, Gareca, who's a current coach of Peru. He scored the most goals in the qualifier and didn't get the chance to get into the final team in the World Cup. So, and also players like Valdano, Burruchaga were coming out in a very good
yeah,
season, and they were fairly very not as big as name, but they're very good footballers.
yeah, that's the thing. Actually, like in the next World Cup, um actually Germany
Say, for
got
example,
Argentina.
Nico Gonzalez of Fiorentina. He's not a big name so far, right? He's not a huge name in the world. But
Mm,
what is important is how he does his
yeah,
role on that team, on his national
yeah.
side, and how he helps his team. If he does that, he doesn't need to be like Rivaldo or Ronaldo. He doesn't have to be.
Well, that's what I was going to say next. Actually, this Dunga's team in 1994, they beat Baggio's favorite Italian team.
Arrigo Sacchi's
Um,
team, yeah.
yeah, of course, such a team. It was unbelievable, but yeah, better team actually won in the end.
Uh,
That
was
is too close. I know,
was
but
it?
it yeah was because Baggio,
I
the superstar, missed penalty. Like
No, 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 no. I'm not going into penalties, but I don't think that that World Cup and the
it
standard
was
of the
too
game
close actually. Too close to decided by a penalty or something like that. But you know,
and that Italian team wasn't entirely defensive too. There was a kind of free flowing Italian team. There are a lot of good
yeah,
players.
that's why people love that team actually more than the '82 cup winning team.
Not Italians.
Really?
Italians like 82 team for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I saw so many people, um, so many interviews. Like
Yeah,
they have this,
as a whole
like
team.
Baggio's.
No, no.
This thing,
As a whole team, I can understand that.
yeah.
But nothing probably beats that 82 Italian team, the fairy tale comeback, and they've beaten some incredible teams on the way. So yeah,
Also, their incredible match, probably some immortal matches in 82's World Cup.
yeah, exactly.